So, you know those dense reports public companies have to file every year? They're called a 10K. And let's be honest, they're usually packed with so much legalese and financial data, they could put anyone to sleep. But sometimes, if you look closely, hidden right there in the jargon is a genuine high stakes drama. Today, we're going to unpack the story of a company right on the edge, a thriller hidden inside its own official report.
Whoa. Okay, this is the kind of sentence that makes an investor's blood run cold. We pulled this directly from the 10K of a company called Sangamo Therapeutics. You got to understand, in corporate speak, a going concern warning, that's the ultimate red flag. It's the company's own auditors saying they might not have enough cash to keep the lights on for another year. They are literally warning that bankruptcy could be right around the corner. And this is where the story gets really wild. The company facing a total collapse isn't some failing retailer or an outdated tech company. No, we're talking about a group of scientists working on some of the most advanced medicine you can possibly imagine. Actual one-and-done cures for devastating genetic diseases. They're out there trying to rewrite the very code of life. And that right there is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? It's this crazy paradox that sits at the very heart of the entire biotech industry. Well, the answer is buried in the rest of this document, and we're going to piece it all together, slide by slide, to figure out what is really going on here. Okay, so our first clue is hidden in a section that, let's face it, most people just skip: the risk factors. Usually it's just this long, boring list of boilerplate legal warnings. But here, oh man, in this case, it's not just a warning, it's basically a cry for help that tells the entire story of their crisis. The filing just lays it all out in the open. They are burning through cash like crazy. Their entire survival depends on finding a big pharmaceutical partner to help sell their drugs. They've got 0 products on the market, which means $0 in revenue. And get this, their stock price has fallen so low, they might actually get kicked off the Nasdaq, all while their competitors are breathing down their necks. It's a total perfect storm of financial trouble.
So, with all that doom and gloom, you might be asking, why are we even talking about this company? Well, it's because of the science. We're about to pivot from the scary balance sheet to the incredible laboratory to see the promise that makes this whole high-wire act so darn compelling. So, the company's big idea is something called epigenetic regulation. Okay, think of it like this. Your DNA is like a massive library of instruction manuals. Some therapies try to go in and actually rewrite the sentences in those manuals. What Sangamo does is, well, it's different. It's more like they designed a special protein that acts like a sticky note you can place on a specific page that says, hey, don't read this chapter, or maybe read this one twice. They aren't changing the code, they're just changing how our bodies read the code. And this right here, this shows you just how ambitious they are. This is their pipeline. It's like a treasure map of potential medicines. I mean, just look at the range of what they're going after. They're tackling chronic pain and prion disease, which is related to mad cow, all on their own. And through huge partners like Biogen and Pfizer, they're taking a shot at Huntington's disease, ALS, and other devastating neurological disorders. These are some of the toughest diseases known to medicine. All right, let's make this a little less abstract. On the left, for chronic pain, their therapy is designed to find the gene for a specific pain channel and stick that do not read note on it, basically just turning the volume way down on pain signals. On the right, for something like prion disease, they're trying to turn down the production of the bad protein that can misfold and become toxic. It's just a really elegant and precise way to fight disease right at the source. But, all this cool science in the lab doesn't pay the bills, right? To really understand why this company might just pull through, we need to look at their most advanced program, the one that's already shown some really powerful results in actual people. This is their big shot at proving the whole idea works, a treatment for a rare genetic condition called Fabry disease. And the whole concept here is it's revolutionary. See, patients with Fabry disease are born missing a critical enzyme. The standard treatment is to get that enzyme through an IV infusion, every 2 weeks for the rest of their lives. Sangamo's therapy, this is isaralgagene civaparvovec, is a one-time IV infusion that gives the liver a working copy of the gene, turning the patient's own body into a permanent factory for the enzyme they've always needed. Okay, so how do we actually know if this thing is working? We look at the kidneys. Think of it like the battery life on your phone. In Fabry disease, that battery is always draining. The rate of that drain is called the eGFR slope, and for these patients, it almost always goes down. The best treatments we have today can only slow that decline. So the big question is, can this gene therapy stop the drain? Or
And this is the crazy part. Could it maybe even recharge the battery? And here's the answer from their clinical trial. Take a look at the chart on the left. Each dot is a patient's kidney function change after 1 year. The fact that the average is way over to the right of that zero line means their kidney function isn't just declining slower, it's actually stable or even improving. Now look at the chart on the right. This is 2 years later, and that positive effect is still there. It suggests the one-time treatment isn't just a flash in the pan. It looks like it's sticking around. Now, let's really put this into perspective. This chart lines up the average kidney function decline with the approved treatments, which is about minus 1.5, against Sangamo's gene therapy, which came in at plus 1.75. Folks, this isn't just a tiny improvement. They are flipping the entire script of the disease, from a predictable decline to potential stability or even improvement. It's a potential game changer. But what does this actually mean for a patient's life? Well, here's maybe the most powerful statistic in the whole filing. Every single one of the 18 patients in the trial who was on those lifelong, biweekly infusions was able to stop them completely after getting the gene therapy. I mean, just try to imagine that. Going from a life tied to an infusion center to, well, being free of that burden, maybe forever. Okay, which brings us right back to that big, glaring question. The science seems incredible. The results for their lead drug are stunning. So why on earth are they on the verge of going bankrupt? And the answer really pulls back the curtain on the brutal economics of making modern medicine.
Check out this number, $4.8 billion. That's the total amount of money Sangamo could earn in the future from partnerships it already has for its other drugs. The potential upside here, if their science keeps working, is it's enormous. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar opportunity.
But, and this is a huge but, potential doesn't pay the light bill today. This quote right here gets to the very core of their problem. The Fabry drug looks like a home run, but getting a drug through the final stages of approval and out onto the market costs an absolute fortune. They need a big pharma partner to write a massive check, like right now, to fund that final push. And as they admit themselves, right here in black and white, there is no guarantee they'll find one in time. And this is the fundamental problem for so many biotech companies. The path from an idea in a lab to a medicine in a pharmacy is a brutal gauntlet that takes over a decade and often more than $1 billion. Companies like Sangamo have to burn through mountains of cash for years and years before they ever see a single dollar of revenue. Their whole existence is this constant, high-stakes race against the clock for funding just to get to the next stage. So when you strip it all away, this entire 100-page document boils down to one thing: a massive, all-or-nothing bet on the future of medicine, where the outcome is either a huge success or a total failure. There's really not much room in between. I mean, the filing basically paints two completely different pictures of the future. On one hand, they find a partner for their Fabry drug. A huge check comes in that not only saves the company, but lets them fund all that incredible neurology work we saw. Groundbreaking medicines get to patients who need them. But in the other future, no partner shows up, the cash runs out, and a pipeline full of potentially life-saving cures just withers on the vine because of money. And all of this leaves us with one final and much, much bigger question. The story inside this 10K isn't just about one company. It's about the entire system we've built to create new medicines. It shows us that incredible science, on its own, isn't enough. It's also a high-stakes financial gamble, which makes you wonder, when a potential cure can cost this much to bring to the world, is this really the best system for taking that risk?